Adrian Hines, aka MCADE, is an American music producer and rapper who pioneered the hip hop subgenre of fast music. His 1985 single, Bass Rock Express, is considered to be the start of the bass music as well as his single Bass Mechanic. He recorded on the Foresight record label, which was owned by his father, Billy Hines. MCADE started out at a young age of 13, and while in the studio with his father, MCADE played a major role in Foresight's first big hit. Very creative and very talented, he created a new genre of music called bass music. He has a long list of hits to his credit, and many other artists have been inspired and have done renditions of MCADE's music around the world, such as the UK, Germany, Asia, and Brazil, where he is considered the godfather of bass music, as bass is used as a driving force of music today, which he is world-renowned recognized for and has produced gold and platinum albums to his credit. Please welcome MCADE to Pathways to Success.
Good night. Welcome to A Pathway to Success. I'm your host, Dr. Michael Hunter, and I'm so excited to interview MC80. MC80,
Yes, sir.
thanks for coming on our show, Pathway to Success, to share your amazing life story of your rise to success.
Thank you. Thank you. And I just want to say, she was saying, I know it's pronounced bass, but it's bass. That's the way we,
Bass,
pronounce it. Bass music.
bass music. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, that's good. That's good. Can you tell us about your background and why music has been so important um, to you from a child growing up? And also, is a two. I want to know first. I want to know after that. What does MCAD means?
Okay. Now I'm looking at the top thing here. It says interview with singer songwriter Chris Knight. That's not me, right? That's not saying me there, is it? Um, but anyway, um, so music for me started well, I mean it goes back further than that. My mom had a grocery store, and we used to have a jukebox in there when I was around 6 or 7, and I used to go there and be able to play all the latest tunes and stuff like that. So like James Brown, Michael Jackson, and all that kind of stuff I used to listen to. Um, then my dad, around the age of 11 years old, he had acquired record stores, and I started working in them in the summers. So that gave me another whole education on music. And he one day, because he was an entrepreneur, he decided he wanted to produce some of the new style of music, which was hip hop. And the only hip hop really was coming out of New York at the time, which was Rapper's Delight, stuff like that. And him down here in the South decided, hey, I can do this same thing. It's just some, kids jibber jabbering on a beat. So he went in the studio to do that, and I just happened to go one day with him, and turns out I end up producing a track, the first track for our record label, which was called Beef Box, and it came out and it was a smash hit. And from there, then he just asked me to start doing records myself, and I did, and it was a hit after hit after hit. And um, I guess all the education I had in the music business, really paid off, and it was just a blessing. I was able to have the skill to do it. Nobody knew.
That's awesome. And the name ADE.
Oh yeah, that was just an acronym for my name, as my name is Adrian. Um, and so I made up the acronym, breaking it down. It was A is for awesome, D is for devastating, E is for everlasting rhymes that I'm creating. To put it plain and simple, Adrian does everything because I write, arrange, and produce my own stuff.
So who do you so because of your father, you said you worked in your father record store. Would you say that's what really paved your way to start producing music?
I would say so. I mean, working in my mom's store, you know, I that probably started it. But even before that, I used to listen to the radio all the time, like WEDR. Back in the day, I mean, growing up in the hood in Liberty City, in the projects, we'd take a radio. Somebody in the projects would take their radio, put it in the window, and they're playing music for the day. So it didn't matter which home that was in the neighborhood, somebody would do that. And so we listened to music all the time. It wasn't too much TV going on, but it was, the radio station playing all the time. Then my mom, like I said, her having the store with the jukebox and I could play the music for free. That listening to certain tunes, like I said, like James Brown, Michael Jackson, over and over again, at a very young age, had a huge impact because that taught me quality music. That taught me like these big producers like Quincy Jones and stuff like that were, you know, producing these big hits. And I was learning, not realizing, and then going to at 11 start working in my dad's record stores was really like me going to college. And that gave me knowledge and information because in a record store you're selling all multiple facets of music. You're selling jazz, R&B, reggae, rap, rock and roll, country, and you have to be able to dive into each characteristic of music. And when a customer comes in, you got to be able to tap into what they like and how to sell them record after record. So it's a real skill that you have to learn. And like I said, I didn't realize it at the time, but that's what I was learning, and that set me up for the success that I've had.
Um, any part you mentioned James Brown, you mentioned Michael Jackson, but which artists really and truly inspired you to go in the studio with your dad at a young age?
None of them. What happened, that was kind of, I can't say a fluke necessarily, but it wasn't for me to go in the studio. My dad was producing some other artists, and I just happened to go in the studio that day. I didn't even know I was going in the studio. We were leaving the record store. The producer, engineer was in the studio with the artist. And when I got there, because it was a girl and a guy, and the song was called Beef Box. And when I got there, she wasn't feeling the track that the producer did. So she said, she asked me because you ask kids, hey, what you think about this? What you think about this music? Um, so she asked me that, and I said, well, it's okay, but if it was me, I'd do it a little different. So she tried to get the engineer producer to listen to me, but he was like, that kid don't know what he's talking about. And I couldn't disagree with him because I had never even been in a studio before. But she was kind of adamant about it, and she, you know, was talking to my dad like, "Hey, I want to see what Adrian's talking about, what he got going on." And so my dad paying for everything, he was like, "Hey, well, you can put that track to the side and just placate the kid, to make her feel good. It really wasn't about me. And so we put that whole composition to the side, and he broke out a blank slate, and I just started beating on the desk, gave the beat, and I had rhythms and everything in my head because I worked in a record store. So at that point I was very musically inclined, and we built that track, and we never played the other track again, and we put that record out, and it was a smash hit. And that's how that happened.
And what's the name of that first record that you put out?
Beef Box. It was called Beef Box. It was a takeoff of that old commercial back in the day when the lady said, "Where's the beef?" at Wendy's. And my dad came up with that idea. He wanted to make this record and use some of that connotation from "Where's the beef?" and that's what that was.
Well, for those who are watching and hearing your story today, and for those who have never heard of or have ever listened to your music, we're
Hmm.
going to take a very short break, and we're going to look at some of your music videos, and we'll be
Uh-huh.
right back.
Okay.
Adrian Hines, aka MC.A.D.E, is an American music producer and rapper who pioneered the hip hop subgenre of fast music. His 1985 single, Bass Rock Express, is considered to be the start of the bass music as well as his single Bass Mechanic. He recorded on the Foresight record label, which was owned by his father, Billy Hines. MC.A.D.E started out at a young age of 13, and while in the studio with his father, MC.A.D.E played a major role in Foresight's first big hit. Very creative and very talented, he created a new genre of music called bass music. He has a long list of hits to his credit, and many other artists have been inspired and have done renditions of MC.A.D.E's music around the world, such as the UK, Germany, Asia, and Brazil, where he is considered the godfather of bass music, as bass is used as a driving force of music today, which he is world-renowned recognized for and has produced gold and platinum albums to his credit. Please welcome MC.A.D.E to Pathways to Success.
Darling, who's A.D.E?
Let's move. Let's get it. You with it. This funk here, you feel it. Alright now, it's hype now. We bang this thing with me right now. You find us, me time us. When it comes to bass, headliners.
I was just enjoying MCA music. I love it. I love it. I love it. I was. Oh my God! I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. You're a creative genius.
Thank
Um,
you. Thank you.
can you walk us through your typical workflow in the studio from idea to a finished product? How do you come to that? How do you do that?
Well, for me, it's like we are people that as humans, it's like we have to see it first. We envision it, and then we can bring it forth. So for me, it works just like that. I I imagine it. I see it, and I do it in my head first, and then I go to the studio. And the trick is to bring it out of your head and to get it on tape, you know. And so that's how it is for me. But first, it happens in my head. It's an idea. It's a vibe. I feel a rhythm, and once I got that, I'm good to go. I'm gone, because the rest of it I just basically freestyle because it's all feeling at that point.
That's good. And what do you think is the biggest challenge facing bass music creators today?
Well, the thing is, bass music, uh they came up with the term. The fans and the people came up with the term bass music. It really was not something, even though I you know created it, eh, so to speak. um I didn't come up with that. I didn't call it bass music. I just called it music that, I liked a lot of bass in it, so uh the music today, well, back then in like New York or what have you, when hip hop first came out and it first started, the bass, they didn't have necessarily like the heavy bass in the music. They had more of just the kicks, like 808 kick, boop 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 boop, that kind of stuff. But when I came along, you know I took it like, even like, reggae. Reggae has, the heavy low end to it, the heavy bass low end. Um, but like I said, it wasn't necessarily into the hip hop form. And so I came and I just wanted to have more bass into this kind of music. And so what I would say is, like, now bass is in all of the music because of, what we started and what we did. Now bass is in all the hip hop. You can't have hip hop without bass. And it crossed over into the R&B and, just different genres of music that you have to have that low end in, because that happened when we started doing this bass thing, putting this heavy bass into the music. It just crossed over, and now it's in almost everything, in music. So it's not really a challenge or anything facing it as an obstacle today. They might not call it, you know, bass music or what have you, but they're doing what I started. And that was just taking regular music and putting the low end in it, and just, putting it in all the music. And that's what's happening now. It's like, you know you got to have the low end in the music, or it ain't happening.
You've been such a great musical genius that has placed this, bass music on the map, um, in America and across the globe. What do you think sets bass music apart from the other genders, right? And why do you think it's so popular today?
Because bass is, it's like frequency that gives you this certain vibration. And people, it's something in us, you know, as humans, that connect, you know, with that vibration. And so when we feel that, and when we hear that and feel that and get that vibration, it's soothing, and it just, romances the music to us. So this is why it's bigger than me. You understand? It's a frequency that tunes in with us. And once people get exposed to it, they love it.
I've always, as a kid coming up, I was brought up in church reading, and I would always love bass guitar player and the boom boom. That was always fun. I loved it so much. And Then when I started listening to your music, I said, "Oh my God, this is just off the chain. It's like I'm in heaven." And so you have really, I mean, you have trend across the different genders in with this creative art that you have brought forth. How do you stay up to date? I'd love to ask you this now. How do you stay up to date with the latest trends and development
Well,
in the industry today?
well, I pay attention to what's going on. I'm really into technology and what's happening, far as even from our currency, like with cryptocurrency, um far as the music and what's going on with music and the new music. And again, being in that record store, being in those record stores, and that put something in me. Learning all those kind of those different musics, they they instill something in me that is forever embedded in me. So I just pay attention. It's just, some people go through life and they don't pay attention,
Right.
but I go through life and I pay attention. And one thing that I really enjoy paying attention to, and that's music and the changes in music and stuff like that.
Do you collaborate with other artists? And what do you look for in a potential collaborator? With the bass, have you ever decided to collaborate with a rapper? Because rapping.
Well, I've done very minimal collaborations. I've done I think a collaboration with a good friend of mine, Devastator. He was the one that made that song. You remember that song, "Shake What Your Mama Gave Ya"?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, with him. Um,
that was good.
yeah, it was a big hit. That was like one of the biggest, you know. Um, who else? It just slipped my mind. Um, oh, Mr. Mix.
The mix.
From
Yeah,
yeah, Mr. Mix from Two Live Crew.
yeah.
I did collaborations with him. My collaborations has been very minimal because I'm I'm very creative, so I like to just when I'm drawing my pictures, so to speak, but when I'm drawing my paintings, I really get into them. And I kind of just it's so much in me that I don't I haven't really did too much of some other artists in my paintings, so to speak.
Um, you have traveled to different nations. What are some of the nations that you've been to that people just love your music?
Oh, like in UK and Puerto Rico, Brazil. It's like right now, I'm scheduled to do a tour this July in Brazil.
Okay.
And when I, announced the tour, the people, they're like really going crazy for it because they want me to come there, to come back so bad, and to believe that I'm coming is kind of mind blowing for them. And my new track that I just dropped a new record
Congrats.
um about a week or so ago. It's called Let's Get It. And they're actually, going full blown with it over in Brazil right now, with the top DJs. And it's just really hot. And it's going to be live, and I plan to shoot the video
In Brazil.
for this new track, actually, while I'm doing my tour and my live concerts.
You mentioned Brazil. Are you married?
No, sir.
Oh, because
Yeah.
It's going to be really pretty difficult to focus on music. I've been there, but it's going to be really very extremely difficult. So that's why I asked that question. Oh, they love that beat, of course.
Yeah.
But
Woo, boy. Yeah, yeah,
oh
yeah.
yes, Brazil, Brazil, Brazil.
Yes, I understand. I
You
understand.
understand?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
you got
I never,
grandchildren.
unfortunately, I never been married. I attribute that to probably growing up in the music business, and you know, I, I just never got married, um, and maybe in some years, maybe I get married. I don't know,
No alimony you have to worry about, and no separation of properties.
none of that. Yeah.
Because you're so famous, and right there, that if you were married, they'd be calculating how much money you make.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Definitely. Definitely.
So I don't think you'd be smiling with me like this on the show. Right?
Yes, I agree. I agree. I've had friends who've told me
Yeah.
very horrific stories, so I understand.
So you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yes.
But what has been some of your most memorable performance that you have had
It
something
has been in
studio?
Brazil. It has
Brazil.
been in Brazil because, I was doing shows there, and you know they have huge arenas, like soccer stadiums and different things like that. And I was doing like 4 shows a night, and it's like I remember, like, when I did even my first show there, and we got to the arena. It was like I said, like a soccer stadium, and it was so packed. I'm talking, it's like, like if you go into, a big game, a football game or what have you, and
Yeah.
the whole place is packed. And I'm the headlining act, okay? I'm what they're coming to see. And this place is packed to the rim. And it was so packed that we couldn't even get into like the facility. We had to come through like the front to go through the crowd. So they got like 50 guards and security all around me trying to lead me through the crowd. And I'm in the middle. Me and my crew are in the middle, and something happened that I never felt before. It was like it was I felt gravity. And what I mean by that is because with all the security around me and me being in the very middle, going through the crowd was so huge and so big that it was like they were moving me. I felt like paper. You understand? It was so light. It was like I had never experienced that before, but the crowds were crazy. And every show, I like to lost my voice
Right.
doing that tour because my vocals would be gone. My throat, I couldn't speak almost. But when I hit the stage, and it could be, I've done 3 shows that night already. I'm on the fourth show. It's sometime probably 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm getting ready to. And once I hit the stage, the crowd, it's like they just got whole brand new energy. Okay, it's a whole new crowd, and they've been waiting on me all night, and every crowd is lit. I mean, they're like, it's like crazy. And when you getting that kind of energy, you will destroy yourself because it's giving you so much so much energy that you can't help but give it back.
Yeah.
And and yeah, it was, yeah, I almost really damaged myself because I was doing that a lot, and it was just so exciting, and I just couldn't help but to give back.
So electrifying.
Yes.
Um, to see such people love your music so much.
Yes.
Brazil is a party nation.
Yes.
They love music. It's just fun.
You need to come down there, man, and hang out and check out a
What, what,
couple shows.
when are you going? Which
I'm going in July. Well, I should be leaving like in June, but the tour starts in July.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
come. I'll come.
Yeah,
I'll not be
man.
a part of your team though. Like,
Exactly. I know that's right. Yeah.
it would be a part of your team, and
Yes,
what
sir.
we could cover it.
Oh,
Um,
yes, that would be fabulous.
from back right there, live there in
Yes.
Brazil. That'd be great for people to see right here in the United States of
That's
America.
right. That's right.
Um, because you have made so many people, you bring so much smile on people's face. Such a great creative musical genius as you are, and
Thank you.
one who God has really blessed you amazingly.
Man, what you talking about? It's yeah,
Yes.
I'm blown away all the time.
hmm And
Yes.
so, but how has your sound evolved over the years? And what do you think about the influence that bring about this evolution?
Um, it's paying attention to what's going on. Um, it's a part of the old and the new, and being able to comprise that together. Um, and my sound, uh, man, I really, to explain it, I explain it as much as I can, far as paying attention and my background in music, but it really uh amazes me because, like, I just went in the studio to do this new track, and I got in the studio, and it's like, I did knocked it out in like 4 hours,
Wow, wow.
and it was jamming so hard. I
Yeah.
mean, it blew me away, and it's like, wow, like, man, I've been blessed, really, because I'm able to go in and do a track like this where, I got the DJs and the radios calling me, and they're telling me, they like, we love this track. It's hot. And, even though my name is on it, my picture, and they're still asking me, well, they're like, man, this track is hot. The music is dope. And who's doing it? Who's the artist? And I'm like, it's me. And they, because they're like, it sounds so, youthful. And it's like, how did you do this? How did you put this together? And besides from me explaining what I explained already, I can't explain it. It's just a
Can I
blessing.
say something in closing though? There's
Yes, sir.
another sound you have because while interviewing you, you sound so much like Samuel L. Jackson, the movie star. Your voice,
Oh, okay. All right.
your
Cool.
voice. Go and
Thank
watch
you.
one of his movie and listen to how he speaks, and you'll recognize you sound the same way. You understand? You sound the same way. I thought, but while I'm interviewing you, I keep saying in my head, he sounds like Samuel L. Jackson. That action star, movie star. That.
Yeah.
And I think you should really stop and take note of that one too.
Okay. That is something to think about. Yes, sir.
The way you explain yourself, the way you talk, same way, same way.
Excellent. Well,
Where do you see
success.
yourself? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I want to go do my tour. Then I want to go to Dominican Republic and purchase me, a home on the beach, and do and create me a restaurant,
Are you
you
going to get
know.
married? Are you going to get married there? gotta talk up. We gotta talk up. We gotta talk up here. We gotta invite. Am I going to be invited?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. I don't. It's like this. I don't know where it's coming from at this time, but I know I'm gonna be in the right places to
Right.
find it.
Yes. Yes.
So I don't know what's gonna happen when I go to Brazil,
Yeah.
and and I don't know what's gonna happen when I go to Dominican Republic. But this is where I'm going to be.
Mhm. Wherever
Yes,
you go, people love your music. Wherever you go, you're outstanding. Your music
yes,
is just fresh. No matter what generation, it's just fresh. And it's getting better and better. It was just an honor to have you on pathway to success. And I'm going to have my producer give me your number because I need to come with you to Brazil.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. It will be a wang dang doodle for sure.
I love that. I love that we'll be partying right there in Brazil with MCADE.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
for joining us on Pathway to Success. Keep your creativity alive, believe in yourself, and you'll win. Have a great week.
Thank you, my brother.
Same to you.
Peace.